And aloha and welcome to Mystimon Saga. This is another season of Mystimon Saga Hidden Archives. This is a tale of horror and mystery powered by Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I'm your host, GM Seth. I also go by Seth R. Mitchell. And I am joined by our players today, Binary, L, and our newest player, Jude. Jude, how about you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Jude. I'm 35. I'm going to be playing a swashbuckler human.
Your character's name is Androvan.
Yes.
Anything you want to tell us about his backstory?
Oh, sorry. So he grew up in Atlantean. He lived in a forest with his tribe where he decided that he wanted to explore the world. So he left and learned how to become a fencer with a rapier. And he's just been traveling the world ever since, never wanting to settle down. And he likes to learn a lot of new things. So I think he'll be taking the investigator dedication.
All right. And what brings him to joining the Hidden Archives, this intrepid group of investigators, this division of the Wayfinder Society that is looking into the paranormal all over the world?
Well, like I said, he likes to learn a lot of things, and the mysteries of the afterlife and the things that come with it have kind of piqued his interest. So he came to them to see if he could learn what all he could learn.
All right.
What's he look like?
Well, he's about 5'11", black hair, blue eyes. He's got a nice goatee. I'd say he's got about a 4-pack with, lean, muscular physique.
All right. So when we last left our investigators, Binary, but still, you have gone off on your own. You have gone off on your own. You had Esther. You have all Esther following you. You also have Ryzen following you. And you have gone off on your own because you are like a dog on a trail. You're like a bloodhound on a trail. But just as Soma was about to go out the door of the tower to follow you, suddenly Kuai came barging in through the door from the basement, frantic and crying. And Soma, you had to make a diplomacy check to calm her down. At which point she told you that Eira has run off somewhere into the wilderness past the ranch. And when you asked her what happened, she explained that she and Eira were in the barn talking to Rune and everything, when suddenly Eira went crazy and started attacking her. It wasn't until she screamed out Snowy, which is what she calls Eira, that's her nickname for her, that she finally came to her senses, at which point she was apologizing frantically and profusely, and then when Kuai tried to approach her, she ran away, telling her to stay away. As she doesn't know what could have caused Eira to go crazy as she did, but Kuai thinks she feels terrible about hurting her and is afraid she'll do it again. And then at one point, as she's explaining the story in a sort of offhand way, she said that she and Eira have both been having nightmares as of late. Do you ask her about that?
I think I did, because we were also recounting the story to Crystal, who mentioned that she was having the same nightmares.
Yeah.
Which
she
nightmares
said
about tentacles.
Yeah, black tentacles, snake things. She called them snake things. And black clouds and purple lightning. But Kuai just says, they're probably just Dark War's way of sending me a message. Isn't it?
Whose?
Dark War. Crystal says, oh, it's... Dark War is a Mystimon. It's a dream Mystimon or a nightmare Mystimon. It's something of the sort. Its primary job is to guide people on their way into the dream world.
What would my knowledge of this is like? What is the relationship between the Alopiki and this Mystimon?
Why don't you roll a... God, it's been forever. What skill would that be?
We got a
Occultism.
new player and it's a new season. We should also get a description of Soma.
Yeah. Well, none of you are looking at Soma right now, so no. Soma is she is a small, generally appears to be human, red hair, often worn in kind of like a curled and pinned up sort of fashion. She wears multiple layers of very kind of like brightly colored, embroidered, beribboned, kind of like a very like a long sleeve blouse with kind of big poofy sleeves underneath, like a embroidered jacket, and then big skirts with lots of like pockets and bags and things around her waist. She's usually accompanied by a little gray and red fox, but is not currently because he's currently riding Esther's shoulder as all of you race towards the Magi Guard headquarters.
Yeah.
So in this case, it might be best to say riding Bastille, since Bastille is seemingly be separated.
So in the room right now
I think she is the shortest. I think she is the shortest member of this little group of the Hidden Archives.
So right now in the room is Crystal. Crystal has in her 20s, and she is wearing this red dress with a black skirt. It's actually more of a red blouse and a black skirt and tights, and she also has this red cape on, and she has long blonde hair. And Kuai looks like she's about 18 or so. She has really messy, dirty blonde hair, and she is wearing a long green dress at the moment with a purple or violet lining. And she is not wearing any shoes. You noticed that right off, Soma. And Jude, I'm going to say that you are actually here in the Wayfinder Society Tower. You are actually off in the corner a bit, you were looking through these books that you checked out from the library upstairs. Because, like you said, you like to learn things. And you overhear all of this. What do you do? I'm sorry, Androvan.
I look up from the book and just kind of continue to observe what's going on.
All right. So, Soma, you rolled an occultism
made
check.
It in the clear, and I apologize for that.
That is totally fine.
Private GM roll.
That is totally fine. We're in a new season. So, mistakes happen, especially in a new season. So,
the sin meter has been reset.
Indeed. Welcome to season 11.
We've added a sin meter.
You know what? I'm going to do that.
We haven't updated to the remaster, but we have added a new feature that we're sure everyone will love.
I will do that. I am going to put that in my notes. I'm going to add a sin meter bar.
If the bar gets too full, you are photoshopping a dunce cap on everybody's avatar.
I mean, I personally think each player should have their own sin meter and the DM, and that way we know who's earning the dunce cap.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Well, the individual.
But
well,
DM, you have to
6
have one
bars.
too.
6 bars would be a little much. 6 bars would be a little much.
Whoever completes the sin bar is the one that gets the dunce cap.
Yeah.
Everyone fills it, but it's the completer that must take the punishment.
All right, so I will make a note to add a bar to the overlay before the next session. Oh, I will do it. It is going to be a thing now. The sin meter. Not the sin eater, the sin meter. So, with a 36 Soma, that is actually a critical success. So, what you know about Dark War is basically everything. You know all the things about Dark War. You know all the things about the Dream World. You know all about Dark War's primary mission to guide people into the Dream World every night when they go to sleep. It's sort of like you know, Mr. Death, who guides people into the afterlife. That's probably Kuai's name for him. Mr. Death.
A psychopomp, but for dreams.
Yeah.
So my question was specifically, what relationship the Alopeke have because of the Alopeke's relationship with the dream world and with dreams.
So the Alopeke's relationship with Dark War is Dark War to them is like a very special spirit. To them, he's a spirit. It's a Mystimon, but to the Alopeke, he's a spirit. And he's very special to them. He's like sacred.
Okay.
He's like their most
sacred
spirit.
Descriptions of the dreams of dark tentacles, dark clouds, purple lightning.
Yeah.
Is there any connection in that imagery to the dreams that have plagued the Alopeke?
Any connection to the dreams that have been plaguing the Alapeke? No, not except the tentacles. What is different is the dark clouds and purple lightning.
Okay.
And as Crystal is kind of going over that in her mind, she suddenly says, wait, purple lightning? Have you been seeing that too, Soma?
Have I?
Yes.
Or is that what you just said, that the answer is no?
Yes,
oh, okay.
yes, you've been seeing it too. You've been seeing the purple lightning too.
Because I remember the dark tentacles from the thing that I touched.
Yeah.
That saw me back.
You've been seeing the purple lightning too. And Crystal has a thought in that moment. Back before the convergence, which was a year ago at this point, almost a year ago. Back before the convergence, there was all these storm clouds on the horizon. I was called out to a scene on the western shore of Almana, and there were all these storm clouds. This scene on the shore was grisly. There was all these dead fish piled up on the shore, and off in the distance on the horizon there were these dark clouds and purple lightning. And then we saw the same thing again the night of the convergence. What's the connection? Crystal looks really confused. It's almost like there's a memory that is plaguing her, but she can't quite remember it. But Kuai is getting frantic. She says, Snowy could be in trouble. We need to help her. We need to find her.
Yes, Crystal, we will talk about this later. Before I leave, I need basically what I want to do is grab from our stash, which, like, if it is objects as opposed to simply gold, if it can be objects as opposed to simply gold, I would like first I would like to ask you, Seth, what is the level equivalent that Eira is?
What is the level equivalent to Eira?
What level is Eira?
Eira is level 5, and so is Kuai. They're always going to be they're always going to be equal to half your level.
Oh, cool. Good to know. I need 1,000 gold worth of gems.
All right. So go ahead.
Basically, I would like to. This is me telling Bastille. I'm going to take that amount from the stash, and I will return it if I don't need to use it.
All right.
How dare you? No, it's fine.
All right, and Jude, are you doing anything at this moment besides reading your book and everything?
Well, I'll get up and I will approach everyone and I hear you're in search of somebody. Do you need help?
Kuai says, yes, we need all the help we can get. We need to find Snowy.
What can you do?
Well, I can fight, I can run, I can jump.
You can run? Let's go. And I'm just going to take off towards the basement.
I'll follow.
Okay. So Soma and Androvan, and you get used to say it as character name. I'm sorry about that. Soma and Androvan head downstairs, followed by Kuai and Crystal. And Crystal at this moment actually has her comstone out, and she looks like she's calling someone. And she says into the comstone, "Yeah, Luna, your daughter is in danger. She ran off. We need your help." And she just clicks off the comstone and puts it back in her pocket. And Crystal says, "Sorry, Luna is Eira's mother."
I pat her on the shoulder a little awkwardly as we step through the like teleportation gate.
Okay.
And say to Androvan, before we do, hold your breath, this feels weird.
And in an instant, Soma and Androvan, you're whisked through this. It feels like you're shrinking down into a hole, into a very tiny hole, and then you come out the other side. You go, and Crystal says, "Yeah, keep it to these small distances. Don't try to teleport all the way to the Quartzca Islands. It will blow up. I found that out the hard way."
Very well.
We look at the like burn marks on the walls down here.
Well, now you're in the barn at the ranch.
Yeah.
And looking
okay.
around,
It's not like connected to platforms.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
So looking around, Soma and Androvan, you're in this barn, and you see this Frostelven woman with long white hair working on this rather small airship that looks just big enough for a few people. And the woman is working on the ship, and she's also drinking out of this cask. And she hiccups and she hiccups and says, "Oh, hi, Soma."
Rune, which way did Eira go?
Eira? I think she went that way. Or was it that way?
Kuai, which way did Eira go?
Kuai isn't answering, she's just running. She is just running.
Then I'm just following her.
Towards the south.
If that's what's happening, I'm following her.
Yeah, she is just running in the southerly direction. And as you get to the edge of the ranch, you see this fence. Just as you pass Kuai and Eira's homestead, where you know they've been living together, you find this fence that surrounds the entire ranch. This 502-acre ranch. So yeah, it does take you a bit to get there. Excuse me. And Soma and Androvan, you can make survival checks, because Kuai doesn't know where she went from here.
That's what I'm supposed
to. So, Bastille, back with you. I'll handle those survival checks in a bit. Back with Bastille. You have been marching on a mission. Marching on a mission straight down the street. The night sky is bright with the double moons and the bright stars. It's a beautiful night, but you're not paying any attention to that, are you?
No. He's truly never paid attention to the beautifulness of a night in their entire life to their knowledge.
Of course. Of course. He's an automaton. What do you expect?
For reference for any new people or otherwise, Bastille is a 7-foot-tall automaton, gray, it's a tannish plating for the majority of his body, a dark robe, but otherwise not wearing much as far as an outfit goes. The main notable thing is the fact that he looks extremely damaged to where he shouldn't really be operating, but otherwise moves completely fine, as fluid as like a brand new automaton would, and is seemingly unbothered by all of his damage, in which I shall repost the art as well for your reference, Jude, so that you can view
it. In fact, I think we can actually show that on the stream. Let's actually change scenes here. Let's go to this scene. And let's see here. Let's go to Bastille. Show players. That is Bastille.
That's cool.
Yeah, very. And I'll leave that on the screen for a little bit.
Binary here will be honest. I don't remember if he's heading to the guard place because there were tracks leading to the guard place or a different reason. I remember getting the book, and like heading towards the council building, heading in using the pass wall from fire, and then we, after tracing the steps, we found the book. Soma saw the thing. Head back to the tower and things like that. I don't remember the exact reason I'm going to the guard building.
That was when the figure, like the shadow creature we had followed the energy detector thing to, showed up and then disappeared. And
yes,
you cast locate. We like something about a necromivore, and you cast locate and learn that there is a Zolgoth in Calroon, and so you are following that trail just straight to whichever Zolgoth it is.
Thank you. In which
I
was doing this with 2 party members. Now I am truly doing this alone. So it'll be interesting.
Well, you do have 2 people with you. It's just they're NPCs at the moment.
2 people and a familiar. Somebody else's animal familiar.
Not an animal, and a Mystimon, but yeah.
It's okay. If Bastille was solo, it truly would not change his form of direction whatsoever. For better or worse.
Is Soma ever going to Evo Zeal?
I mean, when maybe, but it's been 24 hours. It's not even been 24 hours.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. When you say Evo Seal, all I think is like Pokemon evolution. Dun 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 dun.
Well, that's kind of the idea. You could have an Evo.
And, we'll explore that once I've actually seen my bed for the first time in 48 hours. I think we have other priorities right now, Seth.
Yes, yes. Yes, we do. We definitely have other priorities. Like Snowy / Eira. So, Bastille, you are on a mission. You are marching down this street. There's no one on the street at this time. You pass a guard or two at one point or another, but other than that, there's no one really here. It's just you, Ryzen, and Esther, and Zeal. Zeal's on your
Because
shoulder.
if I remember correctly, it's like 2 or 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's at 1:30 a.m. Actually, that would start the
That
time.
was a remarkably efficient race across the city.
Nyum.
Because we met, what's her name, at her apartment at midnight.
Yeah.
Look, I can't speak for others, but Bastille doesn't really get a loss of breath, so others are probably
I'm very
winded.
little, and I have very little legs.
Bastille is not. And Bastille will move at the standard pace the entire time.
Yeah, and Zeal is on your shoulder. You're just going marching down the street. And remind me, where are you actually going?
To the Zolgoth I found with Locate.
Ah.
At the end of last session, you said fetched him up right outside, fetched all of them up right outside of the Magi Guard headquarters.
Right outside the Magi Guard headquarters, yes.
And I believe Esther had picked the lock on the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a reminder for Locate, I learned the direction to the target, and then at Heightened, I can target creatures rather than objects.
So, you meet with this tall man with a scar over his eye. He's wearing this circus uniform and a top hat on his head. And he says, well, look what we have here. If it isn't Crystal's pets. What are you doing out at this late hour? Shouldn't she have you in bed?
Bastille truly looks at the other two confused, is one of them considered a pet? Looks to the familiar on his shoulder, kind of waiting for a response to the familiar.
Zeal shakes his head.
Could not find the pet you are referring to.
Never mind. I should know better than to get a straight answer from a robot.
Answers do not have direction unless the answer contains a direction.
Your kind are really annoying. Bifrost. Oh, he was irritating. But entertaining at the same time. You, at the moment, are just irritating. Can I help
What
you?
do you want with the book?
The book? Oh, you mean what is mine? It's not me that wants it. It's my masters. You see, they're coming. In fact, they're already here. I think you have probably already met them, even if you don't know it.
The Void Beings.
Oh, those are just their messengers.
They do not good a job of sending messages. When they were detected, they left without leaving one.
See what I mean? Irritating. What do you want with the book?
To know why it is missing.
What is missing?
The book.
Oh, yes. I took it. Because it belongs to me. Kyrene had no right. Kyrene had no right keeping it in that safe, where it just gathered dust, doing nothing. Where it could be free. Free to cause chaos.
So then you admit that you were the one to commit the murders.
Murders? What murders?
A signature leading from the most recent murder led towards the taking of the book. By admitting to one, you have admitted you were at the scene of the other.
Have I?
Yes.
Back with Androvan and Soma. So we have a 19 and a 17 from on your survival. Survival is actually one that doesn't have to be secret. And for some reason, you seem to think that the trail is heading eastward along the side of the fence. But Kuai is certain that she ran into the wilderness. What are you two doing?
Can I attempt a perception check to follow the trail?
Sure. Soma?
I will wait for that.
Okay.
I just like I'm waiting for Androvan to look around because he seems like he knows what he's doing. I am not. My woodscraft is not very good.
Okay. So Androvan,
I'm
you
seeing if he's going to be able to pick it up and decide between the two.
Yeah. Androvan, you kneel down and you're like feeling the soil beneath your feet. You're feeling the terrain. So to give you a bit of an insight into what the terrain really looks like here, the ranch is it's parts of it is like desert-ish, and parts of it is like grassy plains. The ranch sits nestled right in this bowel at the foot of Mount Hellfire, this mountain range that stretches throughout the center of Almana. and this mountain range that stretches out from Mount Hellfire southward. In fact, I can show you on the map. When you go into the map here and zoom in, you can see this is where the ranch is.
Okay.
And so you have the terrain that you're dealing with here is partially desert, partially grassy plains. And it looks like the tracks that you're seeing here look to be heading in the direction of this forest towards the south.
I will follow them.
Alrighty.
I will follow Androvan.
Okay. So you follow this trail into this this forest area. The trees are like palm trees. And you finally come to a river with a rock overhang over this wide part of the river. And there, standing at the top of the rock overhang, is this woman with long platinum hair. And Kuai says, "Snowy!" And Eira says, "Stay back. I'm too dangerous. I have my mom's demons within me. It has to be." And you could make perception checks.
Question. Does the demon, quote unquote, that she's talking about, does that count as a haunt or a spirit?
It would count as a spirit. Yeah. A necro spirit.
Is she within 30 feet of me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna cast Spirit Sense.
Yeah, you don't sense any. You don't sense any necro spirits. And Androvan, you could see tears in Eira's eyes. Her eyes look very red, and she's sniffling. She's clearly been crying and distraught.
There isn't... I know something happened. Something terrible happened. And I'm gonna, like, kind of grab Kuai's hands and say, please, like, quietly to her, please, stay here. Coming closer to her will not help right now. I will tell you if you can come closer, okay?
Oh, okay. Snowy, you're not bad.
I'm going to do...
She's
trying to protect you. She loves you. Okay? Just stay here. And then I'm going to try and clamber up closer to Eira.
So as you try to approach Eira starts coming towards the edge of the rock overhang, looking like she's going to jump. Stay away.
Eira, no. There's nothing inside of you. Trust me.
Why did you bring Kuai here?
She wouldn't stay away. She loves you. We're going to help. We're here to help. What do you feel? What are you feeling right now?
Make me a diplomacy check. And Androvan, what are you doing?
I'm actually, so the rocky outcrop, is it over the river? How high is the river?
The rocky outcrop is about 50 feet over the river. And the river has what looks like these sharp stones. It looks like she would probably die.
Well, can I then make an acrobatics check to attempt to, kind of balance on those in case she decides to jump? I'm going to attempt to catch her.
Okay, you can try that.
Is it a diplomacy check, public or secret?
The diplomacy check is public.
Okay. Don't fuck up. Okay. Oh, sorry for the language. I apologize. You just told us about that. One marker for the sin meter.
It's fine.
And for the acrobatics check.
I mean, at this point, we're like 55 minutes in. 1 or 2 slip-ups is fine. And hey, Androvan hops over to one of the sharp rocks, and he is kind of bouncing there. And Soma, sorry, I have a fly here that's bugging me.
If a 33 isn't enough, but a 34 is, it's a 34. Otherwise, it's a 33.
Ah, okay.
I guess
so that is a good feat. That's actually a cantrip. Hex. Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
my hex cantrip.
With a 33 on your diplomacy check, What exactly do you say to her?
Whatever it was that I just said, which I'm sure was very diplomatic. But it was effective. It was to the effect of like, Kuai will stay over there. Come towards me. You don't have. There's nothing there. There are no traces of spirits about you. But I believe you that something is wrong. Tell me what you feel. And come towards me.
And at that moment, just over off to the base of the rock overhang, over towards your right, Soma, you hear a voice. You need to listen to her and to your girlfriend for once in your life, Eira. She actually makes a lot of sense when you take the time to listen. She is right. And when you look over in that direction, you see a woman with this long red dress and long red hair. And Crystal says, Luna. And Eira at that point says, great, you brought Mom too? I see you have Crystal there too. Do you have the rest of the thing somewhere hiding? Bring them out. Let's have a bloody party. Clearly, Eira is upset.
Obviously. Oh, no. Just tell me what is wrong. Forget them. Just look at me. What are you feeling?
Tears are pouring from Eira's eyes now. Every time I'm with her, she gets hurt. She almost got flogged, or even worse, just for loving me. You don't get it, Mom, or Soma. Any of you. None of you get it. If anything ever happened to her, I don't know what it would do. I love her too much. I love you, Kuai. That's why I can't be near you. I can't let you get hurt. And Luna says, Eira, whatever happened, whatever caused you to flip out like you did, it was not a necrospirit. Soma is right. You are not possessed. Trust me, I would know. Listen to your love. You are who you choose to be. Listen to her. Because it is the very same thing you said to me once, and you saved me. She saved me. You have a damn fine girl there. And I will be damned to the ungrave if I'm going to allow my daughter to throw away her life and throw this sweet girl into dismay. We will figure this out. Now get down from there. Don't you dare make the same mistake I did. Do any of you say anything?
I'm just like very slowly shuffling towards Eira, and like at that I just kind of hold out my hand so she can take it and like to help her down off of this ledge.
And let's see here. Kuai shakes her head and says, how can I get hurt when you're always protecting me? You're always protecting me. It doesn't matter where we are, the city, the ranch. I like the ranch. I like all the Mystimon. But without you, it's not the same. I need you. None of it is your fault, Snowy. Their laws, the nightmares, the barn, none of it is your fault. Relieve yourself of that guilt. Because it is not yours to bear. And she is actually slowly walking forward. You have taught me so much about the world, about love, about all of it. We could be back on the island and I wouldn't care. So long as I have you with me. That's all that matters. I was alone for so long, Snowy. Even when I was found, I was alone. No one understood me. Few tried to understand me. I guess I don't make a lot of sense. But I hope I make sense to you now. Because when I met you, I was no more alone. So long as I had you, I knew I would never be alone again. Don't make me be alone again. Soma, Androvan, do you want to say anything? You can make one more diplomacy check here. And if you do, you will get a +2 bonus from Luna and Kuai.
From below, I yell out that love is always worth fighting for.
Soma?
I'm holding my hand out and I nod and I say, and we need more people to help us figure this out. You do more good than you bring harm. I've only known you for a short time, but I can already tell.
Okay, both of you make diplomacy checks with a +2 bonus.
Can I make mine an aid?
Yes, yes. Androvan is aiding, so that's an additional +1 bonus.
Oh, okay. I didn't add the +1. So
it's 31.
31. $32, because technically Nudge Fate is still in effect.
Yeah. Yeah. So
If a
Eira,
32 is better than a 31.
Eira holds out her hand and she takes your hand slowly but surely, and slowly but surely comes down. And as Luna also helps her down and then wraps her in a hug. Don't you ever do something like that again. And Iris says, somehow, I don't think Kuai will let me. And Kuai runs right up to her and throws her arms around her. You got that right, Snowy.
While this has happened, I've kind of hopscotched / waited over to where Androvan is, and I look up at him and say, "Thank you for the help." This would be
Anytime, my
easier
lady.
than otherwise.
And as Eira comes down the rest of the way, she trips over a rock and something... make me perception checks, Soma and Androvan. You see something gold and shiny fall out of her pocket that Kuai doesn't see. But Luna sees it, and she's like right there, so she leans over and picks it up. And as Kuai is starting to walk away, and Eira after her, Luna pulls Eira aside and says, "You planning on telling Kuai something?" She says as she hands over the object. "I know it. It's native Atlantean. And Androvan, I am going to let you make a society check with a +1 bonus. In fact, this can also be a culture check." You want to use
They're
your
both
lore
sus-
skill.
They're both the same.
Okay. So, Androvan, you know exactly what this is. This is native Atlantean tradition for marriage proposals. It is a gold necklace with these beads. And every bead means something different. And Luna hands it to Eira and says, "This is native Atlantean. Your father proposed to me the same way." She says as she pulls out a necklace from under her blouse. Eira shakes her head. I don't know. Maybe. But we can't. She starts, but Luna stops her. Do it. You have my support all the way, and when elected, I will fight every single day to change that ridiculous law. So propose to her. On your time, of course. And when the time comes, if you will have me, I would be most proud to walk you down the aisle. And Luna says with a smile, "You and Kuai have every right to be happy together, and no one can take that away from you, regardless of whatever Baitor shit laws they make up." Iris smiles. "We got plenty of that back at the ranch," says Eira. And Luna says, it laughs and says, "I bet. I counted about 5 dozen? That and about a few hundred Nakos. How do you find room for them all?" And Eira laughs and says, "Ask Bifrost and his magical bag." And on the way back, Eira pulls you aside, Soma, and says, and you too, Androvan, says, thanks. Thanks for coming for me, I guess. And I guess I'm glad you brought Kuai after all. And Mom. Seriously. You're not hiding Kyrene somewhere too, are you?
We didn't even know your
no,
mom was
I think
here.
she's. Yeah, Crystal was the one who called your mom.
Iris said that with a smile, and as she looked about, and then she gets more serious. I know I'm not always easy to get along with, and I'm sorry if my demeanor toward you has felt, for lack of a better word, cold. There's been so many people coming and going, but you seem alright. And, you are? She looks at you, Androvan.
I'm Androvan, a new joinee to the Wayfinders.
She holds out her hand and says, I'm Eira.
Pleasure to meet you, my lady. And I give a slight bow as well.
I'm like when she was like, you seem all right, I'm in the back like sniffing, like, of course I'm better. I'm all right. Better than all right. Great.
And Eira says, I just hope you stick around. You know,
We have to get back. Our it's very late. And I think my compatriots are in the middle of making a very, very dangerous decision. So if it's all right, we're gonna go.
Okay.
If you're gonna be okay.
So, yeah, you're both following along with Crystal and Luna and Eira and Kuai, and you are heading back towards the ranch. And that's where the teleport pad is anyways, and that's your fastest way to get back to the city. But still, back with you, you're currently having this standoff with Zolgoth.
Question before we continue the conversation.
Sure.
I found a spell I'd like to use, but it's not in any of the spell lists, so I was wondering if it was one you would consider to put on the Spirit of Darkness spell list.
What spell would that be?
Seashell of Stolen Sound.
Seashell
of Stolen Sound.
Not sure how I missed that. I think being sonic, that's actually under wind. It should be under wind, and being a seashell should also be underwater.
I checked both water and wind. It is not on either.
Okay. I will make
I didn't see it.
I will make a note to check that later. But that definitely should be wind and water.
Okay, but would not be on darkness or spirit.
No.
just been looking for a way to record this goddamn conversation. This
You
entire
actually
time.
have
Ryzen
something.
or
You actually
Esther?
have something.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
well,
we've got the little recorder things.
Yeah,
We've
you
got
do.
The motion.
Well, we have a
recorder?
motion recorder, but that's not a sound recorder.
It is. It's both.
Oh.
Audio, video, photographic recording mechanism.
Okay. Then I would have started
We're
that
making
before
our
approaching
own
him,
found footage
Okay.
horror films.
so that like it records the conversation. Because getting him to admit that yes, he stole it is pretty big when there are 8 tracks that lead from the crime scene to the books that was stolen.
Indeed.
But okay, that is all I wanted to make sure of before we continued the combo
All right.
in of itself.
All right. So you've been recording him this entire time.
Correct.
Very clever. And you know what? I am going to make a check to see if he has noticed that at all. I'm going to make this blind. I'm not sure why I rolled twice. He smiles. Have you got me on camera?
No,
Make
it's not a lie. He doesn't have him on camera.
Make me a deception check.
It's not a lie. In my defense, he's got him on recorder, not camera. But if you insist on it being deception, could I argue for intimidation? Just no with as much stern of like, all right, I don't want to bother implying more. No, worth a shot. All right. Let's see here. Public, no. Blind GM roll, yes?
Yes. Let's see how good of a liar Bastille is.
We're also gonna throw a guidance onto that for another +1.
All right.
I feel like Bastille should always get a circumstance bonus for anything like this, just due to their totally flat affect.
Possibly one day I won't be able to keep it up, but I've been able to so far.
Okay. No. Pity. I would love.
Would you like to be?
Oh, I would love it. I
Okay.
have so much
I'll
to
get it
tell
out
the
and
world.
start the video sort as well.
Please send this out to the news, to the,
Or
to the
Ryzen
media.
and Esther can.
Send it out to the Wayfinder Weekly, please. I have so much to tell the world.
I do not know that many people, but we will see what happens. Hello, world. Darkness is coming. Chaos is encroaching. And you are all going to die. Is there anything else?
Yes. Do you know anything about the Black Ages?
Do I?
Make me an occultism check.
Sure will. I accidentally did that one public. I wish it defaulted to blind.
If it did that, then we'd have all the checks that are supposed to be public showing up blind.
I just found there's a way to make it default to blind.
Yeah. Little buttons there on the bottom of the
26.
chat box.
Yes. I'd never pressed those before. I was like, oh, I wonder what this eye thing does. Does exactly that.
So, but still, you've heard the term Black Ages before. You actually remember it back from your first encounter with this man in the Hilltop Valley in Atlantia. He's mentioned it before. And you took a look at the notes from the hidden archives, and you know that Zolgoth has been after the Black Ages for several months now. But you don't know much beyond that.
Why is it that you wish for the Black Ages?
Oh, that is for me to know and you to find out.
Well, I mean, so you do not know.
That is for me to know and you to find out.
It is quite simple that you do not know.
Do I?
You don't. Your masters want it.
Do they?
Yes. My question is what the murders have to do with such, or if they are just a pastime.
Oh, I have several pastimes. One of my pastimes is murder.
Yes.
And torture.
This is down.
I do
This
so
is
love
also
torture
known.
and murder.
And apparently making it public.
I feel like you're trying to trick me into something.
I do not know what you mean.
Go ahead and play dumb, Mr. Robot.
I have not played anything since we arrived. There was this game we played on the plane. I forget what it was about.
So back with Androvan and Soma. On the way back to the ranch, you come across a drunken man holding a bottle. And he says, "Partake?" And at that moment, Crystal face palms. As soon as she sees him and says, "Oh my gods, they let him out?" Do yourselves a favor. Do not partake. The man's mad as a hatter, and that bottle contains things that make me blush, being an alchemist. She rolls her eyes and crosses her arms. Don't even try talking to the man. He only ever says one word. Bifrost, the gods rest his soul, being far too kind for his own good, found him on the street one day, picked him up over his shoulder, and brought him into me. So I checked him into the Darkon Sanatorium, the only place equipped to help the man. It's mind-boggling to me that he got out. Remind me to have a word with Dr. Bell. The man motions to Kuai. Partake? But Kuai just puts a flower in the neck of his bottle. But in a few seconds, the flower withers and dies. And Kuai says, "You killed my flower." Crystal replies, "I told you." Do you say anything?
No, I mean, I have priorities right now, and they're not interacting with the various people around here. They're trying to figure out if my friends actually found the terrifying serial killer that they were chasing, that I got distracted from by trying to find and rescue a child. So I'm just kind of like, I'm probably already like walking past this, just like,
Yeah.
Thanks, Crystal. Walking around this.
Crystal says, "We better bring this nutball back to the ranch. We can lock him in the barn until I can get a hold of the sanatorium gods. My friends of the tribunal, they got conned by this man more than a few times, partaking of his bottle and ending him collapsed on the ground, or seeing things that would make Kuai giggle, or a handful of other effects, like what just happened with her flower." Androvan, do you say anything?
I don't say anything, but as I briskly walk by this guy, I try and snatch the bottle.
Make me a thievery check.
Can it be acrobatics?
It's thievery.
Is that public or private?
That is public.
Unless you can explain how a backflip steals the bottle,
Nope.
I'd love to hear.
Not only do you not snatch the bottle, the man just swiftly turns around and he holds the bottle out to you. Partake?
Well, I was going to partake after I snatched it, so sure.
We got another one, guys. I will explain about this character after the session. So, you partake of the bottle. Androvan, make me a fortitude save.
Private, public.
Public. Okay. You take you just gulp it down. You just gulp down a big gulp, and it goes down your throat like fire, and it feels like your stomach is on fire. It feels like your lungs are on fire. It feels like your intestines are on fire. It feels like your entire insides are on fire. But you managed to withstand the effects.
Excellent. Well, I've learned one thing. I'm never going to drink that again.
And afterwards, your skin is bright red, and it looks like the little wisps of vapor are coming off of your skin.
I'm smoking.
Yes, you are. I am going to highlight this part. I'm definitely going to highlight this part and upload it to YouTube. That was entertaining. And Soma, you just briskly walked by. Or are you at a run at this point?
I'm trotting. I'm definitely jogging back.
Okay. You're jogging back. And Crystal and Luna are doing what they can to carry this man back to the ranch. And Soma, you make it back to the ranch long before everyone else because they're having to deal with this man.
I break into a run to catch up.
Okay, so Androvan, you finally make it catch up with Soma, and when she sees you, she sees your skin like bright red and with a little wisp of vapor coming off of it. Do you say anything, Soma?
Hold on, I'm looking at my cantrips.
All right.
I
Can't believe Androvan's gonna die in the first session.
By his own hand.
I don't know that I have the only thing I have that's like even potentially useful is healing plaster, and I don't think that's gonna work.
If only it was healing the plastered.
Hey, yeah, I have cantrip healing plaster.
We can see what that does.
This is not administer first aid or treat wounds. It would just be me like slapping some mud on your face. It does nothing, and it's just a little embarrassing for us both.
A little embarrassing? A little? A little embarrassing, she says.
Only a little. I don't see what the problem is.
Soma, have a hero point or story point.
Look, I worked in the circus. I have no sense of shame.
Soma worked in the circus?
Yeah, I was a fortune teller. You know my backstory.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was with a circus. I was with a traveling circus. That's why I have the most useful lore lore proficiency imaginable. Plus 16 in circus. Anyways. Yeah, no, I just kind of shake my head and say, it might be better for your health in the long run if you... Never mind. Give you a thumbs up and just keep jogging.
Okay.
There's lots of people at the ranch.
Lots of people.
You learn to pick your battles.
Pick your battles. Not sure she could have done much for him anyways. He took a swig of Pargo's bottle all by himself. Willingly. So back with Bastille. You've probably been cracking up back there.
I'm good. I'm still unsure what game you think I am playing.
Oh, we're all playing a game. Didn't you get the memo?
No.
I've been leading you around on this merry little chase.
Not particularly. We started, 4 hours ago? This is the first time we've met you during it.
So tell me, you say you're looking for a killer who died.
Many people.
Many people, you say.
Correct.
And you think I'm the killer?
Considering you have placed yourself at the scene of something missing, in which a trail led to such, yes.
Oh, yes, I have killed. I've killed a great many people. It's a great pastime of mine. You want to know my other hobbies?
Sure.
I like poetry. While I torture and murder my victims, I like reading books.
This is not helping your case.
I like reading books. Perhaps you should read a few. It's where I learned about the Black Ages.
I read a lot of them while we were at the library. There were none regarding the Black Ages there, really.
Maybe because Crystal doesn't have all of the books. You know, there are a great many books in the world. There were thousands of books at the Grand Library at the Academy. Do you know what happened to the Academy?
It was destroyed by the many or strange beast in the forest.
No. It was destroyed by the Dragon Lords. You do know of the Dragon Lords, right?
Vaguely.
Have you seen a Dragon Lord?
Are you one?
Do I look like a dragon?
Unknown. I've not seen one. The answer of yes or no to whether I had seen one depended on whether you were one or not.
You are a very odd robot.
I would not know. I've not met others. Well, there was one, but he left shortly.
How do your friends put up with you?
They have not put me up anywhere. I can carry myself.
Oh my god. Basil, you know you're giving me many moments here I can highlight and clip and upload to YouTube. I'm going to do it. Okay. I think I'm going to be very busy. I'm going to be very busy over the weekend.
But you never answered my question.
What was your question? I'm sorry.
Are you a dragon lord?
Again, do I look like a dragon?
Again, I have not met one. Is that a yes or a no?
No.
Thank you. Did you commit the murders, yes or no?
I'll get back to you on that.
Your lack of answer has been recorded.
But still, please, have a story point.
Thank you.
Forgive me so much material. I think I have enough material for shorts, too.
you want from him? He's a very literal bot. They don't know what. Why would someone put him up somewhere? They don't need to be put up somewhere. They can lift themselves. Thank you. Hell, they can fly. They would be putting others up places.
Oh my god. Oh my gods. Back with Soma and Androvan. You two are probably cracking up.
I'm having a good time.
Yep.
So you make it back to the teleporter just as Crystal is locking Pargo up in the drunken man up in the barn, and she says, "I'm going to go off. I'm going to go into the house and call Dr. Bell and see if they can come pick this guy up." Rune, you overhear her say, Rune, keep an eye on this man. Just as you are stepping into the teleporter and then you emerge in the basement of the Wayfinder Tower. But you're not stopping, are you? You're just running up those stairs.
Yes.
You're just running up those stairs, right through that door, and right through the front door.
Running up that hill.
I'm glad someone else thought about it too.
I would do the voice, but I won't subject anybody to that over a microphone. As we do this, I am going, as we are like running in the direction that I saw Bastille heading, with the knowledge that Bastille, having worked with Bastille for a week plus now, knowing that Bastille is very literal and that Bastille would have just headed in a straight line, having, gotten information, would have just started walking in a straight line. I'm just going to head in that direction, and I am going to be doing recall familiar as until Zeal comes back to me.
Okay.
And like once I know that, I'll know that I'm within a mile of where we're trying to get to.
And Androvan, I assume you're following her.
Yeah, just chasing after.
Chasing after her because she's right way faster than you. You're like, how can she run so fast in all those skirts?
This tiny woman who met you for the first time, first words upon meeting you were, "Hope you're good at running," or something to that effect. It's 2 a.m.
Almost 3.
But yeah, so like as soon as I am within a mile, Z pops back to me and I will keep running but make him tell me what's going on.
It looks like I lost my calendar. That's weird. Well, I lost my calendar on the stream. That's kind of weird. Okay, so
Tell us, because he does it by talking.
Zeal pops back on your shoulder, and he says, "He's talking with this strange man at the Magi Guard headquarters. Now, leave me alone. I need some sleep."
I will stuff him in my sleeve so he can sleep while I'm running. Just curls up with his little nose sticking out. Did a good job, buddy.
He yawns. That robot is strange.
We like him anyway, right?
I guess so. Watch out with that man. He's dangerous. And a moment later, he's snoring.
Just little snores emanating from the sleeve.
You catch up with...
I will give Androvan the rest of the next 7 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't know how fast we run a mile. Are we sprinting? Whatever. I will give Androvan kind of the download of what I know about Zolgoth, which is that in basically these words, in between panting, he's Crystal's uncle. He's a really scary serial killer. He's got absolutely no sense for color matching. And there seem to be a bunch of clones of him or something, and they're all over the place, and Bastille and Ryzen and Esther went to go confront the one that seems to be in Calroon that may or may not be behind all of the murders that have been happening in the last was it 3 months or something? Or
yeah.
just months?
Yeah, and all the other murders that happened last year and way back in a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And also he's connected to void terrors in some way that we haven't quite identified yet.
I see.
You catch up to Bastille, and you find him actually laying against the side of the building. Bastille, you wake up and you have no memory of what transpired after that last little interaction with him. You have no memory of what happened after that. You remember having that interaction with him. You remember asking him those questions, asking him if he is a dragon lord. You remember all of that. But what happened after that and how you ended up here laying against the wall, you have no memory. What do you do, Bastille?
Bastille, I'm
Are
kneeling
the
down.
others passed out with me or just myself?
The others are passed out with you. Esther and Ryson are passed out with you.
Question.
Sure.
Would I not remember? For I am an automaton and don't take penalties for being unconscious.
No, in this case, you have no memory of what happened to leave you there.
Is my camera still recording?
You look down at the camera. And it's no longer running. In fact, it looks damaged.
I will check to see if it can play back what was recorded.
You try to play back the recording, but it fizzles out. And you look inside, you look at the crystal, and it is cracked.
Oh, I'm here. Can I repair it with mending?
Can you repair it with mending? What does
Repair the
mending
target
do?
item, you restore. You repair the target item, you restore 5 hit points per spell level to the target, potentially removing the broken condition if this repairs it past the item's broken threshold. You can't replace lost pieces or repair an object that's been completely destroyed.
You can certainly try. It's going to take 10
Sure.
minutes to cast.
Yeah, I think he immediately just starts working on that. What was it you asked?
Are you talking
Looking
to
up to Al.
Soma?
Soma. Yes.
Oh, are we there? Have we arrived?
Yeah. You find
Oh, okay.
Bastille
My question.
and everyone laying
My
against the
question
wall.
was going to be where Ryzen and Esther were, but you already answered it.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, what did he do to you?
Not sure. Attempting to find out. It should be easy to find out.
At least you hope.
I have another plan if mending doesn't work. You think I don't have backup plans?
Well, of course, for the Mythbusters, it was always Plan G.
I'm an expert in crafting and I have quick repair. Can I help with this in some way?
You could try after if mending doesn't work.
Okay.
I spent my Christmas and New Year holiday watching a Mythbusters marathon. I love that show. And you spend 10 minutes trying to mend it. Hey, Androvan, do you do anything?
No, at this point, I just listen to the conversation.
Okay.
I am going to introduce Androvan to Bastille and Ryzen and Esther if they're awake. If Ryzen and Esther aren't awake, I will spend the time trying to wake them up.
They were not awake, and you spend the time trying to wake them up. You're like kind of lightly slapping their faces. Esther
Healing plaster on everybody.
Esther groans and it kind of opens her eyes and she says, "What is this mud on me?"
Oh, good, it worked.
What did you do?
What happened to you?
And she looks down at
Do you
the
remember
mud
what happened?
and she says, Soma, do me a favor. Don't heal me.
Everyone's a critic.
I don't know what happened. Ask a dragon.
I've never been a critic in my life.
And Esther says, and just how long have you been alive?
Unsure.
So you don't know how long you've never been a critic.
Correct. There's also the possibility that I just cannot remember being a critic.
Ryson starts to wake up and notices the the mud on his face.
Though it is odd.
He notices the mud on his face and says, "Was Kuai here?"
It is 3 a.m. I have so little resources left. I am doing what I can with what I have.
Have a story point, Soma. And both of them say the last thing they remember was Bastille staring down Zolgoth.
Though the loss of memory is odd in the way it happened.
Esther says, note to self, don't stare a serial killer down in the face. So, Esther and Androvan, what are you two doing? Or Soma and Androvan. I mean.
Oh.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm... At this point, I think I'm just waiting for Bastille to see whether Bastille's attempts work.
Okay, so he casts mending on the recorder and then tries to cast it on the crystal and then tries to play it back and it still fizzles out.
Okay. Plan B. AKA, we're gonna do... Where's the spell? Where's the spell? Where's the spell?
I don't know where the spell is. I don't know how to organize your
Is it
sheet.
object reading?
Correct. Yes, that's it. The tried and true object reading. So if it can't play back the information, I'll just see the items passed for the information.
That's an interesting use of that spell.
And guess what? I can concentrate on a single event to gain additional pieces of information. I'd like to concentrate on the time right after I asked him if he was a Dragon Lord.
Okay. And all you see is black. All you see is black.
The GM was not prepared for us to see other ways to get around the being unconscious.
Was I?
Alternatively, we know that this man is fully engaged with something that's literally called void.
Does it at least have the rest of the recording? With it being repaired?
It does. You do manage to retrieve that part.
Good news and bad news. Good news. He is likely the killer. Bad news. He is likely the killer. The reason this is bad is it guarantees that he is the one with the book.
Clip that. And here I'm going to have a little cutscene. Back at the ranch, Crystal comes back in to check on the drunken man that she locked in the barn, only to find the barn door sitting open, and inside, Rune is laying against the beam in a sort of daze. "Look at all the bunnies," says Rune. The drunken man is nowhere to be found. Crystal says, "Oh my gods. Someone please explain to me why in the god's name we keep her employed here?" Rune hiccups. "I'm surprised she even has a license to fly that thing," says Crystal. "She does have a license, right?" Rune hiccups again. "A license to marry and be merry." Rune says, "Clearly in another world. The Tribunal, the Hidden Archives, the Wayfinder Society. I'm surrounded by crazies. Even my own Mystimon." She says she motions to the corner. She's looking at the corner, and there, floating in midair, is her spooklar. I didn't even know a ghost Mystimon could drink. Someone please check B into Darkon Sanatorium. And the drunken man has disappeared. So back with you guys. You all look at the recording of what Bastille was able to retrieve. And after watching the recording, what are you doing? Soma, Androvan, Bastille?
Thinking I should go back to the library and read up on this Dark Ages.
Black Ages, Black Ages.
Sorry, Black
There
Ages.
was not much in there, but we could check again. Perhaps we should go to the one that let us do this mission and inform them of the information that we have found so far.
You mean return to Crystal?
Correct.
Okay. Soma?
That sounds as good an idea as any.
And the last time you saw her, she was back at the ranch dealing with the drunken man, who has since disappeared.
Speaking of the drunken man, is anything else going on with my condition?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, Soma, you take just a quick glance at Androvan, and you notice that his hair is on fire. And he has no idea. He doesn't see it. He doesn't notice it. He doesn't feel it.
Okay. Okay. And he's not like blistering or anything?
No.
Okay. You know, I'm not going to say anything. Just going to keep this to myself.
Probably chuckling under your breath. Let this be a lesson. Do not partake.
Oh, I have additional potential bad news.
Oh no.
I did not get an answer, so there is possibility that Zolgoth is a dragon lord.
And I think with that, I know that Soma, for one, very much needs to go to sleep. So my inclination is definitely to like head back to, if there are like barracks or something at the hidden archives here in town.
Head back to
just,
the
like, claim
Wayfinder
a
Tower. Okay.
Yeah.
So you head back to the Wayfinder Tower. And I assume Bastille and Androvan are following.
Yep.
Yep.
You head back to the Wayfinder Tower. And Soma's inclination is now to just head up to the beds and just find a bed and conk out. Are you two going to do the same? Well, probably not, but still.
Yeah, Bastille won't conk out. He'll get his equivalent of rest.
Yeah. Is Androvan going to do the same?
I'll stay up a little bit and see if I can peruse the books for this
Alright.
Black Aegis.
All right. So while they have conked out, sort of, sort of in Bastille's case, you head down into the library and you start doing a bit of research. And this is what we're going to be doing. This is a research, which means you're going to be rolling a series of checks. And for every success, you'll get a research point, and for every critical success, you'll get 2 research points. But with every failure, you won't get any research points at all. And with every critical failure, you lose a research point. Okay?
Ooh. Okay, sounds good. I want to add my on the case bonus from the investigator dedication.
Perfect, perfect. So you are on the case.
Yep.
The case of the Black Aegis. And you are first.
Oh, can I have handed the files, the Calrune Devil case files,
Sure,
to
sure.
him before I
Sure.
turn in?
Absolutely.
So that you can,
absolutely.
yeah, so you have those too.
Absolutely. So, you are first searching for anything you can find on the Black Aegis, correct?
Yes.
So make me an occultism check.
Do I
Because-
get anything for the case files on the devil?
No,
And private or public?
that is going to be public. 22. So you gain 1 research point. You're starting to make a little bit of headway. You know from the notes that Crystal has here that the Black Ages is some sort of artifact. And there are a great many artifacts from ages long past that were left, many of them left behind by an ancient civilization called the Alchemists. The Alchemists, that's just what they were called, was an ancient civilization highly advanced. And they left behind a lot of their technology. And that technology is what everyone knows today as artifacts and relics. And you believe that the Black Ages could be an object that was left behind by the alchemists. But you can't be entirely sure.
All right.
So, what subject are you going to pursue now?
So I will pursue Alchemist's lost technology.
Okay, and that is going to be a culture check. You can make that a culture check.
And public again?
Yeah, otherwise it would be society, but you have culture. 24. That is another research point. So, what you could find on Alchemist's lost technology or artifacts, you're finding a lot of references to a war that happened back in the Second Age. And this war is called the Relic War. This war was caused by each of the distinct nations warring over the artifacts. And since the end of that war, the artifacts have actually been locked up in a vault owned by the Magi Guard. The Magi Guard have been guarding these artifacts. However, you read in Crystal's notes that a couple of years ago, all of the artifacts in the vault disappeared without a trace. And as far as anyone knows, because several have been found to this date, they've been spread to the 4 corners of the world.
Okay.
What subject are you going to pursue now?
I'm thinking I want to try and pursue let's say black market connections, in terms of like high profile items being sold recently.
Black market connections. Okay. So that could be either society or thievery. If you want to do a society, you could also do culture. Actually, no, I don't think culture is going to apply in this case. So it's either going to be society or thievery.
Okay, I'll make it thievery.
Yep. 26. That is another research point.
Yay.
So now you have 3. And what you know is that the Thieves Guild has been selling a lot of artifacts for the last couple of years. A number of them have been sold off on black market auctions. You also read a lot about some artifacts that were actually captured by this organization called the Order of the Cataclysm. And they were in activity, they were active a few years ago in the Quartica Islands primarily. And their activity also occurred right around the same time as the Dragon Lords were fighting each other over the islands. There were 10 Dragon Lords. 5 Dragon Lords of Chaos and 5 Dragon Lords of Order. And
one is Zolgoth. Sorry, I had to.
And they have always constantly been at war with each other. Nowadays, they've been kind of off on their own in their own corners of the world, their own territories. You happen to know that Electron has been seen over your part of the woods in Atlantia, actually?
And is he a chaos?
Electron is a Dragon Lord of Chaos, yes. And you also read here in Crystal's notes that the Order of the Cataclysm was led by a man named Morpheus. And she talks very rudely about Morpheus. She talks the way she writes about Morpheus, it's like she has a grudge against this man. She has a lot of pent-up anger against this man. And at the end of her notes on Morpheus, she says, thankfully, a Saurus by the name of Marzawa took his head off. So Morpheus is dead.
Okay.
What subject would you like to pursue now?
I want to pursue the Order of Chaos and see if there's any information on their current hierarchy and who might be in command.
The Order of the Cataclysm?
Yes.
The Order of the Cataclysm collapsed after the War of the Dragon Lords. So they are no longer active.
Ah, okay. Then the other one is to research more into, I apologize, I forget the Electrovan. Sorry.
Electron?
Yes.
Electron? So, for that, make me a nature check.
That's a whopping +1. Oh, it was almost a 17.
Yeah, you don't find much on Electron. And in fact, that's a critical failure. You lose a research point. And this is... Your research is taking you several hours at this point. Let's see, you've done 4 now? Okay. So it is a bit past 7 a.m. Soma, are you still asleep?
I am going to rest for as long as it takes me to get a long rest.
Okay.
So
Okay.
at 7 a.m., probably.
Okay.
I think that's just 4
I
hours. Of
concern
sleep.
going to bed at like 3 to 4 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah. You had a long night. And unfortunately, you don't have any good memories to keep from it, and you're not going to have a hangover in the morning. It wasn't that kind of long night. So, Androvan.
I don't know. I made a new friend.
And that friend has since disappeared.
And I met a dragon lord for the second time.
Oh, God. But still, you're probably still conked out.
Well, still just chilling.
So, Androvan, what subject do you want to pursue now?
At this point in time, I'd say I'm probably getting too tired to continue thinking because I don't know what subject to pursue next. So
Okay.
probably just go to bed.
Okay, so you head upstairs and conk out as well.
Honestly, Bastille's fully back up because Bastille's equivalent, like standby state, is only needed for 2 hours.
And Soma and everyone, you awaken at around 10 a.m. About 10:20 a.m. You have had a full rest, Soma. So have you, Bastille. And Androvan,
Yep,
we'll say you've had a long rest as well.
Bastille's probably been up for a while, just standing in his room waiting for someone to retrieve him. As per the usual.
As per the usual. So, Soma, what are you doing this morning? As you're doing your daily preparations?
Well, currently I'm looking for my character sheet because it disappeared. There it is. Okay. I am I'm gonna try one more time to do the frickin' spirit dwelling thing that I'm supposed to be able to do as an exorcist. So yeah, I mean, this is just like, it's always my daily preparation thing.
Right.
So I am, doing my... It just says each day during your daily preparations, your spirit dwelling attracts a spirit wisp who comes to dwell inside. If your spirit dwelling contains no wisps, you can spend 10 minutes in a minor ritual. But I think that part is like outside of your daily preparations. This is just like part of my daily preparations is
Okay.
part of the thingamajobber. So I'm doing that, and then I'm also going to current is 50, setting that back to 50. I'm going to do to cast Read Omens again.
All right.
It's just part of the regular morning ritual, effectively. And focus on looking again for Zolgoth in the book.
Okay.
I'm looking less for like, is this a? Oh no, I mean it says that there. I'm mostly just like I'm casting, you know, reading the cards, casting the bones, and just reaching out into the ether for some kind of advice or direction that might help us. That might be productive.
So you're just you're not
Through
really
the
looking
veil.
at you're not really looking at anything specific, just looking for anything that might be useful.
Yeah, I mean it's the goal. The goal is catching Zolgoth and solving these murders.
Right.
So I'm looking for any advice from beyond the veil that might help with this.
One cryptic clue or piece of advice that could help in solving these murders. And you are seeing these flashes of these letters, but you can't really make out the letters exactly. You just see these letters. And you also see this house. You don't know exactly where this house is, but it's a beautiful 2-story house with bushes and shrubbery outside. In fact, you think Kuai would really enjoy the gardening around the outside of that house. And that is all.
Do I recognize the architecture of the house? Like, just like the style of architecture? Is it like, you know, what's the continent that we're on? Is it Calrunian?
It looks Almanan. It looks Atlantean, actually.
Almanan.
But it looks Atlantean, but but the landscaping around the outside, in fact, you see some palm trees. It kind of looks more like it's Almana.
Does it seem, with like palm trees, does it seem like it's perhaps located like on the coast, like in a coastal area?
You can't really tell exactly.
Then I'm going to go find everybody else.
Okay. So you go find everyone else. They're all downstairs. And Androvan, I'm assuming you're telling everyone what you found in the library?
Yes.
And at this point, Crystal comes in and she looks like she's on the comstone with someone. And she says, "Wait, are you sure? 2 more letters at the new address." And in the room is also Deslin Bolera, aka Skinny. And while all this was going on, and actually before you started describing everything that you found in the library, Androvan, everyone introduced you to Skinny. who is a former Magi Guard officer. She actually just quit. And after getting off the Comstone, Crystal says, so that was a call from a family in Emerald Port. a family that I've been in contact with for some time, since a very disturbing case about a year ago or so. And that this family was getting harassed with these very disturbing letters that were signed by someone called the Watcher. And in fact, she actually, for a second, goes upstairs and comes down a couple of moments later with this stack of letters. And she hands them to Soma, who is the closest one to her at the time. And Soma, the first letter on the stack, it says, "Dearest new neighbors of 657 Boulevard, allow me to welcome you to the neighborhood. 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family for decades now, and as it approaches its 100th birthday, I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. My grandfather watched the house in the 2600s, and my father watched from 2700 onward. It is now my time. Do you know the history of the house? Do you know what lies within the walls? Why are you here? I'll find out." And it goes on to describe a vehicle that this family drove, a wagon with 2 Galapras, and it even names the 2 Galapras, which are horse Mystimon. And it even says that he counted they have 4 children. And says, "Someday I will learn their names and I will call to them and I will take them from you." At the end of the letter, it just says, "Who am I? I could be someone that's walking by your house every day. I could be someone driving by your house every day. I could be one of your neighbors. I could be anybody that you see at any given day and you will never know." And then it is signed, the Watcher. And Soma, you read through the remaining letters and it just gets more and more disturbing. At one point, in the second letter, it goes on to identify each child by nickname and by birth order. And in the third letter, it actually describes the characters. It describes the investigators that were investigating the case at the time. And the fourth letter is really disturbing. It says, "Dearest new neighbors and detectives, I see you have brought in some new people. Are they looking for me? Do you really think they will find me?" And it just gets really disturbing. And you just have to stop. But at the end of that letter, there's something new that you don't see on the other 3. Soma. It is a strange symbol that is in the shape of 3 Ys around an eye. And Crystal says, "That family since moved to Emerald Port. And now they have received 2 more letters at the new address. And as she relates this to you, Skinny it says something that you didn't really catch, but it catches Crystal's attention. And Crystal asks her, "What do you know about the case?" And Skinny describes several different clues from the case, several different things from the case that makes Crystal kind of raise an eyebrow. And she says, "Hey, Skinny, why don't you accompany me, and could one of you 3 come with me and Skinny to go check out the house, 657 Boulevard?"
I'll go.
So Androvan will go. And Soma and Bastille are going to stay here and stay after the serial killer?
Oh, you didn't hear me. I said the old house or the new house?
The old house.
Are you wishing for us to investigate this on top of the current investigation?
I just need 1 or 2 of you.
What have you been to that house before?
Yes.
What does it look like?
It looks like a 2-story old Atlantean home. It is in the it is in the what was it? It is in the housing district, actually, in Kalroon.
When I read the bones this morning, I think I saw that house. I think if we're going to... It was in the context of these murders. I don't think that it's... I think we might all... The 3 of us, maybe, should go.
Okay.
I think it could be connected.
All right.
We had information to convey to you regarding the current investigation.
And what is that?
He'll show the recording of what they were able to record.
Oh, my uncle again.
He stole the book, and the way we found out the book was stolen was a direct trail leading from the location of the most recent murder towards such.
Why am I not surprised? My uncle gets up to all sorts of things.
But you were asking for proof of his link. This is the most clear proof that we could find.
But still, Zolgoth will cop to anything just to throw you off his track. He is a very tricky and manipulative man, and you have to take everything that he says with a grain of salt. And she says that and then realizes what she just said
do not
to
contain
who she
salt.
just said. It said it. Don't take everything he says too literally. She's trying to choose her words very carefully when she's speaking to Bastille. Well, what was Bastille's response to the take it with a grain of salt?
He had said words do not contain salt.
Don't take everything that he says too literally. What is his response to that?
Even without taking such, I believe he is the one who took the book.
Okay. Do you want to continue after him? Or do you want to come with us to this house?
Well, I do. Unless he is able to be located again with the similar magic. Unsure how I would find him. There are similarities in what I do not remember from my conversation with him. And what I do not remember before joining.
It could be that he holds the key to your memories. I'm not sure. He holds the key to a
masters.
Yes. I believe he is referring to the Ancient Ones. Otherwise known as the Great Old Ones. He worships a being called Cthulhu.
Why were we not informed of this?
Well... I assumed at the time that it was kind of obvious. I am sorry.
I cannot speak for others, but I was working under the assumption that we were investigating things that he was doing of his own accord. When including the interests of others, it can allow for other leads as well as other reasons for actions. Example,
Zolgoth,
I am investigating this for you.
Zolgoth is a very, very dangerous man. He is also very tricky and very manipulative. He will manipulate you at the slightest drop of a hat. And please do not say anything to that. He's playing a game with you. You have to be careful with this man.
If he potentially holds my memories, I will play whatever game he wishes.
And that is exactly what he wants.
He did not bring up the game when we were talking then.
Are you coming with us to the house?
I suppose.
So, you all head out to the housing district. And there, she brings you to this 2-story house that comes right out of your vision, Soma. There are palm trees, there's bushes, there's flowers. It is a 2-story house of Atlantean architecture. It looks old. It looks like it's sat here for at least a few hundred years. And it's been renovated recently, within the last 10 years or so. And Crystal says, I introduce you to, for lack of a better word, the Watcher House. And what are you all going to do?
I look around the neighborhood and just kind of like, sorry, not the neighborhood, but like standing on the front porch, I look at the other houses.
Okay. There is some of a similar style, some 2-story houses, some 1-story houses, all of a similar Atlantean style. There's a lot of palm trees up and down the street.
Do any of the other yards or gardens seem unkempt?
Not that you could see. It looks like every house here, every property here has been very well kept and well managed. It actually looks like a peaceful neighborhood.
Can I see the letter that was written?
Sure. Crystal hands you the stack of letters. She doesn't have the new letters. She doesn't have the new letters with her.
When was this one sent?
This was about a year ago or so.
All right. I'm going to upcast object reading and focus on when the letter was being written.
Okay. And Soma?
The best investigation spell.
Soma?
I just think I just want to poke around a little, like look around the area as well.
Okay. Make me a perception check. So where exactly are you poking around, or are you looking around the neighborhood in general, or just the house?
I'm trying to find the exact vantage point from which I saw the house in my vision.
You saw the house in your vision from like from directly in front, like you are now.
Okay.
And but still, you are casting object reading. But it seems that the letters were written too far back for you to look back at.
No, that's why I said I was upcasting it.
And how far back can you go?
I can go back up to with 4th level within the last year.
Yeah, it looks like it goes past that.
Okay, I'll go and get one of the new letters. The newer ones.
Yeah, Crystal doesn't have them on her. She would have to go to Emerald Port to retrieve them. And Emerald Port is on the south coast.
Finally, the GM has foiled object reading.
Not the plan, I assure you.
They don't have any more, like, within the last year letters.
No.
Is this house vacant and for sale?
This house is vacant and for sale, but no one has bought it.
Perfect.
It
Why
seems
are
like
we investigating the old house rather than the new house that they currently live in?
because there are clues to be found at this house.
Would we not want to retrieve the ones that are potentially newer and have time to be cleared out? As ones that were here, they've had plenty of time to clear out.
Well, first of all,
Why would... No, go on.
As the first letter says, there was something in the walls, and I don't think it was ever retrieved. I don't think we ever found what was in those walls.
Why did they... Did they tell you what... Sorry, character voice. Did they tell you what was in... Did they read any of the new letters to you? Was there any indication, because these old letters, the Watcher is very clear that his family is watching this house, so why send letters to them on the other side of the continent?
Give me a second. So, the newest letter read, "Dear family, where did you go? The house misses you. Why did you leave? Did you really think you could escape the gaze of the Watcher? I will always find you, wherever you go. The house sits empty and alone. You should return. If you don't, someone close to you might die. Signed, the Watcher."
I'm just gonna cast Detect Magic and go through the house to see if there's magic coming off any of the walls.
Okay. And as you're doing that, Crystal is leading leading Skinny inside. Androvan, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go talk to the people of the neighborhood.
Okay. And Crystal, what is Soma doing?
That's a great question. It is late and I'm getting stupid, so I have no idea.
I'm about.
I think like I
I'm
am
about to call it.
poking around trying to figure out why my vision would have like what this has to do with anything.
Yeah. So maybe you just follow Skinny and Crystal inside?
Yes.
Okay. You follow them inside, and at one point, Crystal leaves Skinny downstairs, and Crystal is talking to you both about the case. And at one point, she turns to Skinny and says, "You know, you seem to know an awful lot about this case, which is funny, as I don't recall ever talking to you about it." And this stops Skinny cold. Desmond, you and I have known each other for a little while now, and in that time you have proven yourself to be brilliant beyond words. So tell me, if you seem to know so much about this case, what do you know and what can you deduce? And Crystal pulls out the first letter. Did Bastille return the letters?
Yeah, once. Like, he would have known that his object ring wouldn't be able to access it, so he wouldn't have taken them in the first place.
Okay. So Crystal pulls out the first letter the family received in Emerald Port and shows it to her. What do you deduce from this? I'll tell you what I see. The phrasing and wording here, the sentence structure, sounds a bit like your sentence structure, your vocabulary. Deslin, don't play coy with me. You are the most brilliant detective I've ever known. You have a genius intelligence matched only by the one other woman I know. You figured something out about the Watcher case, something the Hidden Archives missed, didn't you? Deslin sighs and nods and says, "All right. Yeah, I wrote that letter. It was the only way to reopen the case because there is much, much more here. The Hidden Archives missed more than one thing. They missed everything. But they were on the right track. They found a connection to Zolgoth. They found a connection to the Scions of the Void. But then they lost all sight of the original case. This was the only way to reopen it, to bring them back into it, to finish the job." And Crystal sighs, "You have put that family through hell, Skinny. What were you thinking? If you had a brilliant insight into this case, you could have just told me about it." She screams. And Soma, what are you doing as this is going on?
I mean, in reality, standing here awkwardly. But I think trying to, like, the thing about there being something in the walls, and also just, like, actively listening, because I had no idea about that the Hidden Archives was the ones who originally looked into this.
Yeah.
So, like, trying to figure out if there's something in the walls, how it would be accessed.
Okay.
And why that would matter.
Why don't you make a perception check?
Okay.
And as that's going on, as you're doing that, Deslin says, "That's just it. I couldn't, Crystal. The Magi Guard were watching everything I did ever since the Dream Palace. If I made one mention about that case to you, they would have been on me like a pile of bricks. This was the only way I knew how." Crystal she says, and putting up her hand. Crystal puts up her hand to her, and as she calls you over, Soma. And as you have just gotten finished doing a cursory glance around the walls, And first of all, as you were doing a cursory glance around the walls, you think you noticed a piece of wallpaper kind of looking like it's not really stuck on, but everything else, all the wallpaper on the rest of the walls is just fine. It's just this one little piece, this one little corner is like sticking up. And as Crystal calls you back over, and she actually calls down Androvan and Bastille. And Bastille and Androvan, when you arrive, Crystal says, Miss Deslin here just coughed to writing the 2 new letters. And at that point, Deslin stops her and says, no, wait. I only wrote the 1 letter. And Crystal looks her in the eyes, as if seeing if she was telling the truth. Could you make me perception checks?
Okay. Let's see here.
I think you probably just heard that. But still, you absolutely think that Skinny is lying. But Soma, you can tell that she's telling the truth. But Androvan, you can't really tell. And then Crystal says the family received a second letter recently. And she pulls that out and shows it to Skinny. And shows it to all of you. And Skinny looks through it quickly and says, look, here, the sentence structure, the vocabulary. You were just talking about my grammar. You should know. Look here. This is the real Watcher. He's back. Shit. My letter must have told him where to go. That would lead him to Emerald Port. We have to go. Now.
Why? Why are you still lying?
And that is where we're going to end this session. To be continued in part 5. We will be back for part 5 of Dance with the Devil on, let's see, let's check the events here. We will be back for part 5 of Dance with the Devil on the 25th, in 2 weeks. I think I ended this a little too late. I'm sorry about that, everyone.
No, you're fine.
It's been a long week.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Good night,
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure. Good night, and good night to everyone at home, and... Oop.